Tonight, you step softly into a world where silence sings, and where every breath of air carries a secret. Imagine the forest as a vast, ancient home, its stories, whispered not by voices, but through roots and leaves, in rhythms that sway alongside your own heartbeat. Your journey begins in the stillness, where curiosity awakens like the gentle unfolding of a new leaf at dawn. The forest is waiting for you. A quiet place hidden just beyond your busy mind, where the noise of your day slips away like a fading shadow. Imagine yourself softly stepping beneath tall trees, whose leaves murmur the tiniest lullabies, carried on the slow breath of the wind. There is no rush here, only the gentle pulse of nature's slow, patient life. Your body eases into the rhythm of the forest, as if curling beneath an enormous leafy blanket stitched together by the hands of time. Each of your breaths matches the subtle sway of high branches, and your heartbeat begins to steady, slowing down to the forest's soft tempo. You are just you and the forest, as ancient and enduring as a whispered dream. Look around, and see how the sun drips through the canopy in golden honeyed strands, scattering light like flecks of warm dust floating in the quiet air. The scent of pine and rain-soaked earth tickles your senses, a fragrant invitation to linger. Somewhere in the distance, a lone bird lifts its song, light, unhurried, the confident chirp of a creature perfectly at home here. Yet beneath your feet, deep in the soil, an entire hidden world hums quietly with life. It is a world older than cities, older than language itself. Roots stir and stretch beneath the ground like the soft unfurling of silk ribbons, weaving stories and sharing secrets in slow, deliberate patterns you can almost feel if you listen closely enough. They speak in a language older than words, in pulses of water, currents of nutrients, and waves of gentle chemical signals. You may think of a tree as a solitary being, standing tall on its own, rooted in place through changing seasons and years. But in truth, no tree stands truly alone. They are neighbors, friends, even families. Their roots intertwine, sometimes softly fusing like the hands of old companions, while unseen networks of fungi thread their delicate web through the soil. Around them, these fungal threads are nature's own whispering wires, carrying not phone calls or tweets, but something far more vital, messages of life and survival, care and warning. Through this underground web, trees share water when rain is scarce, send sugars gathered by leaves and sunlight to neighbors hiding in shade, and even sound alarms when pests stealthily arrive. It is a slow, silent conversation, but one full of wisdom, a quiet symphony beneath your very steps. This forest beneath the forest, the woodwide web, is more than just soil and growth. It is the bloodstream of the woods, pulsing endlessly with connections older than any human memory. Picture yourself as a small seedling, just breaking through the dark earth. You are fragile, but connected. You receive a gentle flow of life from an older mother tree not far away, a tree that has watched centuries pass, and still reaches out to nurture you through tangled roots and filament threads. This nurturing is a kind of unseen kindness, a quiet promise that life continues, not alone, but together. Take a slow breath with me now, in and out, settling deeper into this green world in your imagination. Feel the cool soil cradle your roots and the light above touch your leaves. You are both part of the quiet, and the quiet is part of you. Here, learning to listen is as natural as the falling of leaves or the slow opening of a flower in dawn's first light. And as you rest in this peaceful place, let your mind wander gently to the secrets just beneath the surface. How is it that something as still as a tree can be so full of life and action, so connected and curious? How do they know when to grow, when to rest, when to share what they have? It's a dance older than us, a whisper written in wood and earth. An ancient story you are invited to hear. Tonight, your journey into the secret life of trees is just beginning. Drift now, like a leaf carried on a gentle stream, soft, peaceful, and wide awake to wonder. Imagine the roots reaching out, the fungi weaving their web, the trees quietly sending messages under the cover of darkness. Somewhere, a tree might be sending a simple, silent greeting, hello, neighbor, or perhaps a cautious warning, a signal of care. In this moment, you are part of their story too. Wherever you are, whenever you hear these words, you are welcome beneath their leaves, cradled by the forest's quiet breath. And so, as your eyelids begin to grow heavy, as the soft folds of sleep start weaving their own gentle web across your mind, carry this thought with you. in the heart of the forest. No one stands truly alone. What message will the forest share with you tonight? What secret will unfold in the quiet hush beneath the trees? Let your breath answer softly, and rest, now ready to discover more in the chapters to come. Beneath your very feet, a hidden world awakens, a network woven from threads thinner than a hair, yet vast as the forest itself. Imagine the soil as a deep, dark ocean, where fungal threads flow silently, connecting trees like an ancient web of whispers. This chapter invites you to descend slowly into the earth, where invisible conversations nurse life and quietly hold the forest together. Imagine, for a moment, that your feet are no longer standing on solid ground, but gently sinking into a soft, endless sea of earth. The air above might be still, the canopy light dancing through leaves, but down here, the soil hums with quiet life. Beneath your toes, a vast network of threads twines and spreads, linking tree roots across great distances in a dance older than memory itself. These threads belong to a kingdom often overlooked, fungi. They're neither plant nor animal, but something marvelously in between, ancient and essential. You can think of fungi as the forest's secret messengers, the unseen postman delivering parcels of life, care, and information through an intricate web known as the mycorrhizal network. The word mycorrhizal network, meaning fungus root. This helps you picture the close embrace fungi share with tree roots, like trusted companions wrapping arms together. The connection is so intimate, the fungi actually enter the tiny spaces between root cells, creating bridges for nutrients and signals to flow in both directions. In this partnership, trees offer fungi the sugars they create through sunlight, a tasty forest treat. In return, fungi provide water and locked-away minerals that roots alone could never reach. Close your eyes and let your imagination drift slowly down through the thick layer of leaf litter, past crumbly soil, to where this underground internet begins. These fungal threads, or hyphae, are thinner than a human hair, weaving through the pores of dirt like slender rivers of life. They stretched for miles unseen, linking one tree's roots to the next, like veins carrying nourishment and whispers. This network is sometimes called the woodwide web, not the shiny screens and beeping alerts of the human world, but a quiet, steady connection pulsing with life. Unlike our hurried digital messages, these fungal conversations flow at a natural rhythm, slow, deliberate, and deeply meaningful. Picture a towering pine tree, standing proud and tall in sunlit patch. It's busy converting sunlight into sugar, through photosynthesis, feeding itself and the fungi clinging to its roots. But that pine isn't just a lone island of life. It shares its bounty with a nearby young pine seedling struggling in shade. Through the fungal web, a small stream of sugar flows down to the seedling, a lifeline quietly extended across the darkness. In the same way, when the forest faces drought or hunger, fungi become messengers and managers. They reroute water and nutrients to trees that need it most, balancing the demands of the forest community like a soft, unseen hand in the soil. It's a kind of silent generosity, a forest economy where survival depends on connection, not just solitary strength. But communication is not always about sharing, it's also about warning. Imagine a tree suddenly under attack from hungry insects. It can release chemical signals into the fungal network beneath, sending out an alert. Through the underground web, nearby trees sense these chemical warnings and begin suiting up in defense, producing bitter compounds, toughening leaves, or emitting scents that call the insect's predators for backup. You might wonder, how does the fungal web carry such complex messages? While not equipped with brains or nerves, many fungi respond to environmental cues with remarkable sophistication. They can grow towards sources of nourishment or away from toxins. They adjust their networks dynamically, strengthening connections where there's cooperation, pruning what doesn't serve the community well. Scientists have discovered something marvelous. Sometimes fungi appear to be choosy, prioritizing who receives nutrients, favoring those trees that keep giving sugars back or that belong to their own species. This suggests a subtle negotiation beneath the soil, where fungi broker relationships as much as resources. Extend your imagination now to the ancient elders of the forest, the mother trees. These giant sentinels act like hubs in the fungal network, their massive roots connected to countless neighbors. Through mycorrhizal threads, mother trees nurture young saplings, especially their own offspring, by sharing sugars, nitrogen, and water. This quiet caregiving shapes the future forest, a legacy whispered from root to root, generation to generation. As you linger in this shadowy underworld, notice the delicate balance of cooperation and competition. Some trees might withhold goods, others might be greedy. Fungi, too, can favor and penalize. Life beneath the surface isn't a perfect utopia, but it is a resilient, self-organizing system that manages complexity with quiet grace. Imagine a single thread of fungus stretching under your feet, linking one tree to thousands of others. This single connection could be part of a massive living network, bigger than any city. In Oregon, scientists uncovered a fungus spanning nearly 4 square miles, showing just how immense these invisible webs can become. As you prepare to drift deeper into dreams, reflect on this slow-motion communication flowing beneath the forest floor. It is a reminder that beneath apparent stillness lies a world bustling with exchange, generosity, and response. The forest is alive not only in the rustling leaves or singing birds, but in the subtle pulses of fungal life, sharing whispers in the dark. Before sleep carries you away, hold this thought gently in your heart. The forest speaks in a language without words, in threads woven of life and time, connecting all things silently, patiently, beautifully. In that forest beneath the surface, you are not alone. You are part of an immense unspoken conversation reaching out through roots and soil. What stories might the fungal threads tell if you could listen? What quiet secrets pulsed through the veins of the trees tonight? Let your breath settle with these mysteries as your eyelids close, and the whispers beneath the earth cradle you into rest. Above you, the canopy sways softly, an emerald sea, alive with whispers. Here, leaves breathe and converse through scents and signals carried on the breeze, weaving a tapestry of messages that help trees prepare, protect, and grow together. This chapter invites you to rise gently into the treetops, where calm mysteries unfold amid light and shadow, and where the forest's language dances delicately on the wind. Feel your breath rise slowly as you lift your gaze from the forest floor, your eyes following the slender trunks reaching skyward. The air carries a faint fragrance, fresh, green, and layered with the sweetness of moss and the faint tartness of pine needles. Imagine yourself now as a gentle breeze, weaving softly through the leafy canopy above. The canopy is the forest's living roof, a shifting kaleidoscope of light and shadow, leaves and branches, humming quietly with its own agenda. Though the trees stand rooted and silent from the ground, up here there is a subtle symphony, an array of chemical conversations, whispered warnings, and secret songs. Each leaf is not just a passive receiver of sunlight, but a sensitive listener and talker in its own right. Leaves breathe through tiny pores called stomata, inhaling carbon dioxide and exhaling oxygen, a slow, life-giving exchange. But they also release invisible chemical scents, messages carried on the breeze, carrying stories of sunshine, rain, hunger, or danger. Imagine a leaf gently shaken by a caterpillar's nibble. That leaf, sensing the intrusion, begins to send a quiet call for help, not with sound but with scent. It releases volatile organic compounds, VOCs, tiny molecules like nature's own smoke signals. These VOCs float delicately on the air, drifting through the branches, touching the leaves of neighbors near and far. Nearby trees, tuned to these scents, begin to listen. Like friends who pick up the phone when a voice trembles, the neighbors prepare their own defenses. Their leaves begin producing bitter tannins, sticky resins, or toxic compounds that discourage hungry insects. Some even release scents that attract predatory insects, nature's pest controllers, to the disturbed tree's aid. You might not see these scents, but imagine them as threads of silver light swirling through the air, weaving an invisible web of protection. This kind of communication is slower than your everyday chatter, but no less effective. It is a language shaped by survival and ancient trust, spoken in molecules carried by wind and rain. Just as you may recall the comforting tones of a familiar voice, leaves recognize chemical dialects from relatives or frequent neighbors. Trees of the same species often understand each other best, sharing more urgent or detailed messages. Yet even different species can interpret these chemical signals, joining in a broader community of alert and response. Now consider the wide variety of VOCs a tree can release. It's like an elaborate menu of scents, each crafted for a specific purpose: distress calls, growth regulators, or even invitations for pollinators when flowers bloom. These airborne molecules can signal when leaves are ready to fall in autumn, helping coordinate the forest's slow seasonal dance. There are delicate nuances to it. Some releases are subtle, a soft warning to stay alert. Others are more dramatic, akin to flashing hazard lights. This chemical communication helps synchronize how the forest grows and defends itself, reducing surprises in the unpredictable world of wind, rain, and hungry mouths. Have you ever noticed how, after a summer rain, the forest smells sweet and alive? That scent is partly from leaves and soil releasing stored VOCs, a kind of aromatic sigh, reflecting the renewal of water and light. It's a moment when the forest seems to breathe a deep, calming breath, preparing for the quiet work of restoration. After the sun returns, imagine drifting past a flowering branch, where blossoms release perfumes tailored to charm bees, butterflies, or hummingbirds. These floral invitations are messages in themselves, promises of nectar and pollen. Each flower's scent is carefully designed by evolution, a fragrant handshake between species, sparking pollination and life's ongoing cycle. And there's more than scent. Trees can also release other airborne signals that affect their own development and that of their neighbors. Some chemicals encourage nearby seeds to sprout or slow their growth until conditions improve. Others help time the dropping of leaves or awakening from winter sleep. The forest's calendar is written with invisible inks, fluttering through the treetops, but the communication doesn't stop with molecules carried by air. Leaves can sense subtle changes in light quality, the faintest shadows, or tell them about neighbors growing close or predators lurking nearby. They respond by adjusting growth patterns, strengthening cell walls, or deploying chemical shields. It's a sensory ballet choreographed above your head, where a gust of wind becomes a messenger and a shifting shadow a warning. Picture now a wise old oak standing tall among its companions. Its branches, a vast network of messages. Through tiny connections in twigs and veins of leaves, electrical signals pulse when the tree faces stress. Much like a heartbeat that quickens in an anxious moment, though slower and simpler than a nervous system. These pulses coordinate responses within the tree, helping leaves, roots, and bark work together as one dot. In some forests, you might glimpse leafhoppers, aphids, or other tiny insects eavesdropping on these chemical conversations, exploiting the messages to find food or avoid danger. Some parasitic plants even listen in and respond by attaching to host roots. Communication in the forest canopy is not just cooperation, it's survival, cunning, and sometimes a quiet contest. As you float gently on this breeze, imagine the canopy at dawnlight, filtering in soft gold and green. The leaves shimmer and murmur their greetings. You feel the serene pulse of life connecting hundreds, thousands of leaves in a living quilt. Together, they are not just surviving, but co-creating a world of shade and shelter, food and breath. This web of leaf whispers teaches you to appreciate patience and subtlety. Communication doesn't always need noise or haste to be powerful. Sometimes the slow, delicate language of chemistry and scent holds the deepest wisdom, helping life persist and thrive quietly, faithfully, night after night. As you prepare to settle into sleep, carry the image of the forest canopy in your mind, leaves and branches alive with gentle voices, full of tender warnings and soft invitations. They remind you that being connected is not loud or sudden, but steady and unfolding, like the slow opening of a blossom. What messages might the leaves carry tonight on the wind? What stories drift unseen above you, weaving together the whole forest in a gentle conversation? Let your breath soften and your mind receive these whispers with calm curiosity, as the forest above you sings a lullaby of life. In the quiet of the forest, time moves with a soft, steady grace. Seasons turn like a gentle metronome, and growth unfolds at a pace slow enough to listen to the pulse beneath the bark. This chapter invites you to journey through the cycles of life and death, renewal and rest, a slow dance shaped by sunlight, water, and the wisdom of ages. Here, you discover how forests teach patience, resilience, and hope in the language of time itself. Breathe in deeply and slow your thoughts as you step softly back into the forest's embrace. The towering trees seem still, but if you look closer, you begin to perceive the subtle rhythms that weave through every branch and root. Time in the forest is not like the ticking of your clock or the hurried rush of your day. It is a slow dance, deliberate, patient, and full of quiet purpose. Imagine a single seed, tiny and fragile, settling into the soil. It carries within it the promise of an ancient lineage, a story begun millions of years ago. This seed waits in the dark earth through cold winters or dry summers, sensing the right moment to awaken. Growth does not hurry here. It waits for warmth, for rain, for the precious light to reach just right. As the seedling pushes through the soil, its first leaves unfold like a tender greeting to the sun. Your breath follows its gentle rise. With every inch it grows, it is learning to balance the tensions of forest life: thirst for light, the hunger for water, the silent struggles for space beneath towering elders. Around it, the forest shifts in slow cycles. Seasons arrive like old friends, bringing gifts and lessons. Spring breathes new life. Soft rains awaken roots, and awaken tiny creatures hidden in the leaf litter. Buds swell with promises yet to be revealed. Summer floods the canopy with warmth and light, fueling the endless work of photosynthesis. Leaves open wide, turning sunlight into sweet sugars that nurture not just one tree but the entire community beneath the soil. In autumn, a gentle letting go begins. Leaves soften in hues of gold, amber, and crimson before they drift down in swirling dances. The forest floor becomes a quilt of color, a blanket that returns nutrients slowly back into the earth. You breathe in the crisp air, sensing the forest's quiet farewell to growth for a time. Winter is the forest's deep rest. Beneath the cold, life pulses slowly but surely. Roots grow, fungi extend their threads, sap flows, pores but do not vanish. Even the snow that settles on branches is part of the story it protects, insulates, prepares the world for all that will come next. The forest's slow dance is a reminder that life is not always urgent. Sometimes, strength is found in waiting, in enduring the quiet spaces between bursts of growth. The ancient giants standing tall around you have learned this well. Their reaching boughs and weathered bark tell stories of centuries of steadfast resilience through storms, droughts, and the passage of countless seasons. What allows a forest to grow older and wiser? Part of it lies in the underground networks you have come to know, the fungal threads weaving unseen connections. These networks help young seedlings survive the leanest times, carrying nutrients from generous elders, sharing water in drought, and sending warnings about unseen threats. It is a slow-moving, subtle web of care that stretches across years and lifetimes. Not all growth is smooth or certain. The forest is shaped by challenges, by disturbances both gentle and fierce. A fallen tree creates a sudden clearing and opening in the green canopy that invites sunlight to dance on the forest floor. Here, new life rushes in, eager to claim its place. Mosses, ferns, wildflowers, and saplings eagerly gaze upward, growing taller each day. This opening is a pause, a chance for renewal and change. Sometimes, that change arrives as fire, windstorms, or floods. Though these events may seem harsh, the forest has evolved to recover, to heal. Some trees release seeds that only sprout after fire, taking advantage of the cleared land. Fungi thrive in the rich soil, stirred by disturbance, helping the ecosystem rebuild its connections. You can imagine the forest as a patient artist, painting new layers over old, blending decay and life into a masterpiece of resilience. Close your eyes briefly and picture this silent choreography: roots pushing deeper, leaves unfurling slowly, fungi bridging gaps, animals moving through patches of light and shade, each part patiently, persistently playing its role in the slow dance of forest time. The forest teaches you a lesson about patience, not just the slow unfolding of a seedling, but the enduring cooperation that sustains life through generations. Growth is a shared journey, one that stretches beyond a single lifetime, woven through roots, fungi, and the rhythm of seasons. And yet, within this deliberate pace, there is wonder and vitality. Time in the forest is not stillness, but a steady heartbeat. You might find comfort in this measured pulse, the lullaby of a life that thrives on connection, endurance, and trust. As your breath settles with the forest's rhythm, you might wonder, what wisdom lies in this slow unfolding of life? Can you learn to listen to the gentle signals of time within yourself, the moments when rest is needed, when growth is ready, when giving and receiving must balance? Tonight, the forest invites you to cradle these questions softly. Let the slow dance of forest time soothe your mind and body, preparing you to drift into dreams that stretch beyond minutes and hours to centuries and seasons. What new growth will tomorrow bring? What hidden webs of connection nurture your own roots beneath the surface? These mysteries, like the forest itself, unfold with quiet grace, waiting for you to discover. slowly, gently, night after night. Step closer to the towering guardians whose silent strength bridges centuries. Each ring in a tree's trunk is a page in a storybook of time chronicling warmth and cold, wet years and drought, peace and struggle. This chapter invites you to listen deeply to the wisdom etched in wood and root, exploring how trees remember, adapt, and teach us the value of enduring patience and quiet resilience. Imagine standing beside an ancient tree, its wide trunk rising steadily toward the sky. Your hand rests gently on the rough bark, feeling the steady rhythms of a life that has endured through storms and sunshine over decades, even centuries. If this tree could speak with a voice shaped by time itself, what would it tell you? Look closer, and beneath its bark, within the solid wood, lies a secret storybook, one written in delicate, circular rings. Each ring marks a year in the life of the tree, a diary page of weather, growth, and survival. Some rings are wide and golden, telling of warm, wet years when the tree stretched eagerly toward the light. Others are narrow and compressed, hinting at times of drought or challenge when growth slowed and the tree conserved its strength. These tree rings, or growth rings, are like nature's own memory keepers. Embedded within their patterns is a record not just of the tree's life, but of the world around it, the changing climate, the dance of seasons, and the pulse of the forest community itself. As you trace your fingers along these rings in your imagination, you sense the slow patience required to endure cycles large and small. Trees don't hurry. They embrace the rhythm of seasons with a deep stillness, responding carefully to each year's gifts and trials. When times are good, with plentiful sunlight and steady rain, your tree grows thick and strong, adding vibrant rings. When times are tough, the rings speak of quiet fortitude, a holding pattern beneath the surface, waiting for better days. This record of growth is more than just science. It's a living testament to resilience. Just as your body remembers moments of joy and hardship, storing them quietly beneath your skin, the tree's rings are etched memories, silent but profound. They teach you about endurance, the value of slow strength, and the beauty of steady, unhurried living. But the story doesn't stop there. Beneath the ground, the roots extend far and wide, anchoring the tree and weaving with neighbors underground. These roots are not only the tree's lifeline to water and nutrients, but also a way the tree reaches out, connects, and holds community. In the intertwined root systems and fungal networks, the tree's legacy spreads beyond itself to nurture its offspring, and neighbors' roots grow in response to sickness, moisture, minerals, the presence of other roots to explore the dark earth with both curiosity and caution. Some roots grow deep, searching for hidden water reservoirs. Others spread wide, claiming space, holding firm against winds and storms. In the quiet earth, roots weave a tapestry of survival and support, sometimes joining with roots of other trees in natural grafts that share resources directly. Picture the tree as both a scholar and a guardian, quietly teaching younger trees how to stand tall. Mother trees, as you now know, send nutrients and chemical messages through underground pathways, guiding saplings through early struggles. This generational giving is a delicate balance of patience and care, an ancient curriculum written in sugars and minerals flowing like lessons through the soil. The wisdom of the forest is a slow unfolding, a story told not in words, but in growth, in connection, and in the very rings that mark time. This wisdom reminds you that true strength often lies in endurance, grace to persist through seasons of plenty and famine, the humility to lean on others, and the courage to continue growing, even when faced with uncertainty. As you stand beside the tree, you realize that its life is a gentle invitation to find peace in your own rhythms. Just as the tree grows one ring at a time, you too can grow with patience and purpose, carrying your own history quietly within. You don't have to rush. You are already part of a larger story of forest that remembers, adapts, and thrives through connection and calm perseverance. Now, imagine that, as dusk settles, the tree's rings seem to shimmer softly in the fading light, each ring glowing like a whispered memory. If you listen closely, you might hear the tree offering you a final thought before sleep, an invitation to rest, deeply in the knowledge that growth takes time and that every season is a step on a long journey. What will your own rings say in years to come? How will you carry your stories forward? Let your breath slow, your body relax, and your mind float gently into dreams inspired by the wisdom etched in wood and roots. Though trees have no brains, they are far from ignorant. Beneath the bark and leaves lies a subtle awareness, a silent wisdom that guides growth, adapts to changes, and anticipates the future. This chapter invites you to explore the remarkable ways trees perceive their world, remember past experiences, and make choices, all without words or neurons. Here, you begin to understand intelligence as a quiet, patient dance of life itself. Imagine stepping softly into a forest early in the morning. The air is fresh and cool, wrapped in a hush that feels both ancient and alive. Around you, towering trees stand tall and steady, their branches swaying slightly in the slow breath of wind. They don't shout or move quickly, but there is a deep, measured intelligence in their presence, a calm knowing that has been honed over hundreds of millions of years. You might wonder what intelligence means to a tree. After all, trees do not have brains, eyes, ears, or voices. They do not run, hunt, or hide. Yet, they live in a complex world filled with challenges: drought, predators, competition, and ever-changing weather. How do trees thrive so well, steadfast and enduring, in this ever-shifting environment? The answer is found in the ways trees sense, remember, and respond, a subtle form of intelligence that operates without neurons, but no less purposeful or effective. This intelligence is embodied in their cells, their biochemical machinery, and the networks they form with other living beings. First, let's consider perception. Trees are not passive bystanders, they are constantly listening to their surroundings through specialized molecular receptors spread across their leaves, bark, and roots. These receptors detect changes in light quality, temperature, humidity, and the chemical makeup of the air and soil. Imagine your own skin responding to a gentle touch, or a shift in temperature. That's a rough analogy to how a tree senses its world. When a neighboring tree drops its leaves early, your tree might notice the change in light. When the soil moisture dips, roots detect the dryness and send chemical signals to slow growth, or close tiny pores on leaves to conserve water. Trees even perceive more subtle signals, like sensing neighboring plants through chemicals released into the soil, or smelling the airborne distress compounds released when insects nibble on a friend's leaves. This perception triggers complex reactions, a botanical alarm system and adjustment protocol rolled into one. But perception is only the first part. Trees also remember. You might find this surprising. How can something without a brain remember anything at all? The secret lies in biochemical memory. Plants can store information about past events in molecular states within their cells. For example, after a late frost damages tender buds, some trees delay budding the next spring, as if recalling the chill and taking caution. Experiments with smaller plants have demonstrated surprisingly nuanced learning behaviors, such as habituation, the ability to stop reacting to a harmless stimulus after repeated exposure. This shows that even without a brain, plants can modify their responses based on experience. Now imagine the slow, thoughtful adjustments a tree makes to anticipate future conditions. Long before the harshness arrives, a tree may start producing protective chemicals or adjust its nutrient allocation to prepare for drought or pest invasions. This anticipatory behavior is a hallmark of intelligence and ability to predict, plan, and act accordingly. To help visualize this, picture a tree as an ancient librarian, quietly archiving seasons past and forecasting chapters yet to come. Years' growth rings count the pages, each shift in chemistry a faded note in the margins. The librarian doesn't speak, but conveys wisdom through the pattern of growth and resilience. The intelligence of trees also spreads beyond their own trunks, flowing through the hidden fungal networks beneath the soil. This decentralized system shares information, resources, and warnings with other trees, creating a collective intelligence that knots the forest into a living community. Imagine the forest as a vast brain, but with the neurons replaced by roots and fungal threads. No central command, no quick thoughts, but a distributed network that processes signals and reacts in a steady but remarkably coordinated way. This kind of intelligence is different from ours. It's slow, deliberate, and woven through the very fibers of life. The forest teaches you that intelligence doesn't always mean fast decisions or flashy displays. Sometimes, intelligence is patience, adaptability, and the ability to cope gracefully with uncertainty as you rest beneath the canopy. Let this thought settle in your mind. Your own body and mind are connected to these ancient rhythms. Like the tree, your cells sense, remember, and adapt in quiet ways. Your breath, heartbeat, and thoughts unfold at their own steady pace, your own quiet wisdom holding you in balance. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, imagine yourself becoming part of this living system. You're both student and participant in a slow, ongoing dance of life and learning. The silent wisdom of the forest is a lullaby, a reminder that true intelligence blossoms not in hurried moments, but in the enduring harmony of connection, perception, and memory. What messages might your own body be sending quietly? What memories linger in your cells as you breathe gently in and out? Let your mind rest softly in this gentle knowing, and open your heart to the ancient intelligence shared by all living things beneath the sky. Beneath the forest's surface lies a story written in minerals, fossils, and ancient roots, an epic tale of life's long journey across time. This chapter invites you to sink slowly into deep history, discovering how forests appeared on a young Earth, and how the silent partnerships beneath your feet shaped the world you know. The past whispers through bark and soil, calling you to listen with a heart attuned to time's gentle flow. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Imagine peeling back the layers of time beneath your feet, descending through centuries and millennia, down into the rich bedrock of Earth's history. The soil beneath the forest is alive, not just with roots and fungi, but with ancient stories, secrets encoded in stone, in the quiet patterns left by long-gone plants, and in the invisible chemistry shaped by eons. 500 million years ago, the world was a very different place. There were no forests yet, no towering trees reaching for the sky. The continents were barren, rocky landscapes under a sky heavy with thick clouds, and air unlike the one you breathe now. But on the edges of shallow seas, tiny green pioneers began a quiet revolution. The earliest land plants. These ancestors were humble, far from the grand forests you know today. They lacked leaves, roots, or the towering trunks that seemed to touch the sun. Think instead of mossy carpets clinging to stones and soil, small and fragile, but determined. These early plants held a crucial secret. They were among the first to capture the sun's energy in this new way. Yet life on land was harsh. Water was scarce and sunlight, while plentiful, came bundled with harmful ultraviolet rays. Without protective features, the plants risked drying out or burning under the unfiltered sky. This is where the story takes on an ancient friendship with surprising depth. Enter the fungi, mute, soft-spoken partners who had already been occupying land for hundreds of millions of years. These fungi weren't just decomposers waiting for something to die. They were explorers of soil, weaving thin threads in search of nutrients and moisture. When they encountered the first plants pushing out of water, they did not compete, they collaborated. A pact formed between plants and fungi, an alliance so profound it changed the course of evolution. The fungi wrapped their hyphae, their thread-like filaments around or even into plant tissues. Through these intimate connections, fungi offered plants access to water and nutrients, especially phosphorus and nitrogen locked deep in the rock and soil. In return, plants shared sugars they made using sunlight, sending valuable food down through their roots to nourish fungal partners. This mutual support allowed both to thrive where neither could succeed alone. It was a tandem dance of survival and growth, written in cells and molecules. Imagine this ancient handshake happening beneath the soil, a conversation silent but vital, weaving the first threads of the vast and complex forest networks that exist today. Fossil evidence from hundreds of millions of years ago captures glimpses of these interactions, impressions of plants and fungi intertwined, marks in stone that tell a story of cooperation born from necessity. As plants evolved, so did their relationships with fungi. Over time, leaves unfurled to capture more sunlight, roots grew deeper to explore the earth, and vascular systems emerged to transport water and nutrients more efficiently. Forests slowly rose, tall and complex, reshaping the atmosphere itself by pulling down carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. The rise of forests ushered in a new age. Giant ferns, towering horsetails, and early conifers covered vast landscapes, creating habitats for countless creatures and shaping the climate. Oxygen levels soared, enabling the evolution of larger animals, including the first insects, and later, the ancestors of birds and mammals. Throughout these transformations, the fungal networks grew even more sophisticated. Some fungi specialized, forming relationships with particular tree species. Others became generalists, linking many plants together. This underground web acted as the forest's nervous system long before animals existed to fill that role. Reflect now, in your mind's eye, on the remarkable continuity between that ancient alliance and the forest you see around you. The mushrooms and toadstools you notice popping from leaf litter are merely the visible tips of hidden kingdoms sprawling beneath the surface, kingdoms older than any human history. You, too, are part of this story. Your body carries atoms once made in ancient stars, part of the same cycles of life, decay, and rebirth. The air you breathe contains oxygen released by forests past and present. The soil beneath you hosts trillions of microscopic beings continuing to weave the old magic. The ancient legacies beneath your feet invite you to slow down and feel a quiet reverence. You are walking not just on Earth but on the pages of a chapter still being written, shaped by forces older than memory. As you rest here, allow yourself to wonder, what wisdom do these ancient friendships hold for us today? In a world moving fast and filled with noise, is there something to learn from the patient cooperation and resilience of the earliest forests? The fungi and plants teach you about mutual care, about how life flourishes, not in isolation, but in connection, sharing, and adaptation. They show that sometimes the strongest survival strategy is to reach out, to invite others in, and to nurture rather than compete alone. Tonight, as your breath slows and rests, carry this gentle lesson in your heart, that beneath your feet, beneath the surface of daily life, lies a deep, enduring network of wisdom, one that has sustained life on Earth through vast times, and that, in your own quiet way, you too are woven into that story, a part of an ancient legacy that echoes softly beneath every step. What stories could the stones tell if they could speak? What secrets remain locked in the soil, waiting for patient ears and open hearts? Let your mind drift with these questions as sleep tiptoes closer, bidding you rest in the trust of the forest's slow, sure history. In the quiet forest, life is a delicate dance between shadow and light, a balance of growth and restraint, sharing and rivalry. Trees forge friendships and boundaries, cooperate and compete, weaving a complex tapestry that supports the whole. This chapter invites you to drift gently into the intricate rhythms of these relationships, where even conflict holds a purpose, and every leaf, root, and whisper plays a part in the forest's enduring song. Step softly as you enter the heart of the forest again, feeling the delicate weave of life stretching in every direction. You might expect this place to be a gentle paradise of quiet harmony. And indeed, there is peace here, soft breezes, filtered sunlight, and the occasional song of a hidden bird. But nestled beneath that calm lies a story far more intricate, a slow choreography of both cooperation and competition, dancing quietly all at once. Imagine sunlight pouring down through the canopy, patchy and shifting as branches sway. It reaches some trees and misses others, casting pools of warm gold among the dappled shade. For every tree, light is life, a precious gift, transformed into energy through the magic of photosynthesis. Yet, not all trees receive the same share. Some soar tall, their leaves basking in the sun's full warmth, while others wait patiently in the shadows below. This disparity creates a gentle tension. Trees rooted deep must decide how to grow. Should you reach higher, risking your stability, or spread wider, collecting every stray beam you can? The forest's way is rarely simple. Growth is a constant negotiation, a slow balancing act between daring and restraint. Below ground, competition takes on a hushed form as roots stretch tentatively, searching the rich, dark soil for moisture and minerals. Roots intertwine, sometimes in friendly embrace, sometimes in silent rivalry. Some trees extend their root systems aggressively, pushing out neighbors, while others form delicate alliances through fungal threads, trading nutrients like neighbors, sharing meals over a fence. Yet, competition here is not a ruthless battle. It is a dance of limits and generosity, tension and grace. Even the most competitive trees sometimes yield a little ground or send a gentle chemical message to deter others from overstepping. In this way, boundaries are drawn softly, a botanical handshake rather than a clenched fist. One remarkable phenomenon is the nurse effect, where certain hardy plants create safe havens for younger, more vulnerable seedlings beneath their sheltering branches or in their shade. These nurse plants provide moisture, shade, and protection from harsh winds, nurturing their future neighbors until they're ready to stand on their own. It is a small act of kindness, a living example of cooperation blossoming from survival. Competition and cooperation blend ever so delicately. Some trees practice a kind of biological diplomacy, sharing nutrients through fungal networks when they can, warning neighbors of threats when danger looms. Others conserve resources, withdrawing support or growing in ways that limit rivals' access. This dynamic interplay sustains diversity, allowing forests to adapt and thrive over centuries. Take a moment now to imagine the slow sway of a foggy morning as light filters through mist and leaves. Each leaf, each branch, listens to the others not with ears, but through chemical signals and subtle changes in shadows. This silent conversation guides growth, defense, and survival strategies so seamlessly that the forest feels like a single, breathing entity. Yet underneath that unity lies complexity, stories of survival, shaped by countless encounters of sharing and withholding. Alliances forged and sometimes broken. It's the forest's way of writing its own ongoing story. A tale of resilience balanced on the quiet edge between competition and care. Even when a storm crashes through, toppling great trees and opening the canopy wide, the forest answers with a renewed clarity. Sunlight rushes in, awakening seedlings to grow faster, reaching for the new light. Opportunistic plants sprout quickly, adding fresh green to the patchwork. Beneath the soil, fungal networks reconfigure, directing nutrients to where they are needed most. The dance continues. As your breath settles with the forest's rhythm, you might sense a reflection in your own life. The forest teaches you about the beauty and balance, the blending of strength and generosity, of standing firm and letting go. It encourages your mind to rest in the realization that life's challenges and friendships intertwine, each part shaping the whole. Tonight, as sleep beckons, carry with you the image of that dancer forest alive, with whispered negotiations beneath timeless shadows, where every leaf and root plays a quiet role in supporting the life around it. Imagine drifting gently in a world where cooperation and competition are partners in the forest's enduring song. What subtle balances might your own days hold? What gentle boundaries and shared kindnesses weave your own stories of growth? Let your breath soften into these questions as you rest, cradled by the forest's ancient, slow dance. The forest breathes in ways you can almost feel, drawing air, sipping water, and shaping the very atmosphere that embraces you. In this chapter, you float gently through the cycles of air and water within the forest, discovering how trees and plants breathe life into the world around them. This quiet exchange nurtures all living beings, inviting you to rest within the gentle rhythm of nature's breath. As you settle into the forest again, imagine the soft rustle of leaves whispering overhead, tracing the invisible currents of air that weave like gentle ribbons through branches and boughs. The forest breathes a delicate, life-giving inhale and exhale that carries the essence of existence itself. Look upward through the canopy, where sunlight pools like golden wells, warming leaves that open their tiny mouths, the stomata breathing in carbon dioxide. This fragrant gas, invisible as a secret sigh, is the forest's invitation to begin a slow dance. Inhaling carbon, the trees prepare to weave sunlight into sugar, food that fuels growth and life. At the same time, the trees exhale oxygen, spilling quietly from their leaves, filling the air with a breath you share. This dance exchanges the breath of one living thing for another, binding you to the forest in a cycle that has spun for millions of years. Every breeze you feel carries whispered stories of photosynthesis, respiration, and the deep flow of life. Now, imagine raindrops falling softly onto leaves, tracing their way down twisted trunks, soaking into the soil to nourish roots hungry for water. Water is the forest's lifeblood, flowing unseen through veins of wood and soil, connecting every living part like a slow, constant artery of renewal. This water cycle begins high above, where clouds gather and release gentle showers. The moisture seeps into ground, replenishing creeks and rivers that wind like silver threads through the living tapestry. It fills the leaves with coolness and carries nutrients essential for the forest's slow, steady growth. The tree's roots grasp water with subtle patience, drawing it upward through the trunk in a careful ascent, an invisible elevator carrying liquid life 2 leaves above. This movement, transpiration, releases water vapor back into the air, fueling clouds and rain in a continuous, timeless loop. The forest breathes through water as much as air, moving energy and life invisibly but always surely. Feel yourself becoming part of this grand exchange, your own breath in harmony with the forest's quiet rhythm. Notice how the air around you shifts with humidity, coolness, and the faint scent of earth and green. This atmosphere is neither still nor hasty. It moves with the gentle trust of a system finely balanced over eons. Within this breathing forest lies another secret, the role of trees as giant pumps and filters. Their leaves catch dust and pollutants, cleaning the air. Their roots stabilize soil, preventing heavy rains from washing life away. Forests, moderate temperatures, shading the earth like a soft quilt, and influencing weather and climate across vast regions. Don't think now of the small streams, flowing through mossy paths or trickling over stones. These waterways nourish insects, amphibians, and all manner of creatures dependent on liquid life. The forest's breath extends to these animals too, its life force shared through water's gentle pulse, and beneath your feet, where roots and fungi intertwine, that breath continues. In slow chemical symphonies, water dissolving minerals, transporting them in a silent song of sustenance. This is life at its most patient and persistent. Tonight, as you breathe slowly, let yourself drift on the breath of the forest, inhaling calm, exhaling peace. Imagine the rhythms of air moving, water flowing, and life growing, steady, gentle, and wholly interconnected. Holding this feeling, remember, your body too breathes, drinks, grows, and rests in rhythm with this ancient forest dance. What might the forest's breath teach your own? How does the simple act of breathing connect you to a world much larger and older than yourself? Let these questions float softly, like mist on the morning air, as you glide gently toward sleep, cradled by the endless, quiet breath of life. As the forest breathes and whispers beneath the surface and above, in its leafy canopy, countless creatures dwell among the branches, trunks, and soil. This chapter softly explores the delicate roles animals play, from tiny insects to graceful birds weaving the forest's harmony with movement, sound, and quiet care. Together, they help keep the forest alive, balanced, and endlessly enchanting. Imagine yourself waking slowly with the forest, the soft light flooding through the canopy as shadows stretch and yawn. The trees stand tall and silent, but you sense life stirring all around, not just in the wind or the rustling leaves, but in an orchestra of small, unseen, or sometimes fluttering creatures who call this quiet world home. Animals live in the forest as partners and protectors, guests and guardians. Some flit through the air on delicate wings, painting invisible patterns with their flight. Others crawl silently over the bark or within the soil, busybodies weaving tunnels and enriching the earth. Many depend on the forest, while all contribute to its resilience in ways you might not easily see. Think first of the insects, tiny architects of life. Ants march along twigs and roots like little gardeners tending invisible fields. Some carry leaves, others cultivate fungus gardens, nestled deep within hidden chambers. They aerate the soil with tireless digging, helping water and oxygen reach roots, while their movement stirs nutrients into circulation. Without these tireless workers, the forest's underground web would grow dense and sluggish, much like a forgotten room blocked by too many piles. Beetles, moths, and butterflies join this quiet dance. Many butterflies depend on the forests, flowers for nectar, becoming delicate couriers of pollen. This exchange is vital. Flowers bloom with sweet offerings, hoping to catch the eyes, tongues, and antennae of these winged visitors. In turn, pollination allows trees to produce seeds, the forest's next generation, tucked safely in cones or scattered softly on the wind. Deeper in the soil, earthworms twist and turn, their slow movements turning dead leaves into rich humus. They are nature's recyclers, breaking down organic matter so the forest can live again with new strength. Their slow, hidden toil nurtures the roots and fungi that nurture the trees themselves. Quiet circle of care. Above ground, birds fill the forest's chorus with gentle songs and calls. Imagine a chickadee, a tiny feathered jewel, flitting from branch to branch as it hunts for insects hiding in bark crevices. With each captured morsel, the bird helps control pests that might otherwise overwhelm young leaves. Other birds like woodpeckers tap ancient rhythms on mighty trunks, creating homes in tree hollows used by future generations of forest dwellers. Their drumming serves as both music and communication, echoing through the quiet woods. Not all forest animals are small, Imagine the graceful path of a deer stepping gingerly through dappled light. Deer browse on young shoots, often shaping where and how the forest grows. Their feeding patterns clear spaces for sunlight to reach new seedlings, guiding the forest's slow renewal. In quieter moments, animals like foxes or owls take up residence, hunting with patience and skill, balancing the numbers of smaller creatures and keeping the ecosystem in gentle check. Amid this endless life dance, animals and plants sustain each other in subtle, beautiful ways. Some trees rely on squirrels to bury nuts and seeds, unknowingly planting new forests with every hidden stash forgotten beneath the soil. Fungi sometimes hitch rides on insects, traveling through moist air or carried on feathers, spreading spores to new homes and expanding their silent kingdom. The forest is not merely a backdrop for life. It is a living, breathing community with relationships that stretch beyond any single species. Every creature, no matter how small, plays a role. The flutter of a moth's wings, the digging of a beetle, the song of a bird, all contribute to the balance that keeps the forest resilient through fire, flood, and the slow march of time. Imagine now that you are a quiet observer perched on a leafy branch. You watch as a spider weaves a delicate web, the shimmering silk catching early morning light like a net of liquid silver. This web is not just a home but a trap, a tool, a silent invitation to the forest's story of survival and patience. Each thread vibrates with the slightest touch, alerting the spider of prey in danger, a lichen ancient, patient wisdom encoded in silk. As the sun climbs higher, light filters through leaves in beams of warm gold. You feel the tender pulse of life. Around you, a harmony of movement and stillness. Life rises and falls in gentle rhythms, energy exchanged between roots, fungi, animals, and trees in a dance that has played across centuries. Rest now with this quiet knowledge. The forest's life is many lives intertwined. Your breath, slow and steady, mirrors the rhythm of a hidden world where every creature shares in the story. The forest teaches you that resilience is woven from many threads, strength, not from solitude, but from connection, cooperation, and shared care. Before sleep pulls you softly beneath closed lids, hear the forest's invitation. In the quiet rustle, the soft footsteps, the fluttering wings, life goes on. Come, resilient and infinitely gentle. Wherever you are, whatever your day has held, you belong to this larger story of care and community. What life stirs quietly near your own thoughts tonight? What gentle footsteps echo softly in the corridors of your dreams? Let your breath flow, like a forest stream, peaceful and sure, as you drift into rest, cradled by the living world. As day drifts into twilight, the forest begins a different kind of conversation. The night is alive with whispers, calls, and songs, a symphony of sounds that carry messages through the dark. This chapter invites you to listen softly to the nocturnal voices, exploring how creatures and trees use sound and silence to communicate, protect, and celebrate life beneath the moon's gentle gaze. As the sun melts slowly behind distant hills, and the sky softens into shades of lavender and deep blue, the forest's heartbeat shifts. The warmth of day gives way to the cool embrace of night, and a new, delicate energy stirs among the leaves and shadows. This is the forest's night symphony, a subtle and enchanting concert where every sound carries meaning, every pause invites reflection. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine standing in a quiet glade, the soft dampness rising from the earth, mingling with the cool night air. As your ears attune, the forest opens up in whispers, the rustling of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze, the faint tap-tap of a woodpecker finishing up its last search before darkness falls, the nearby chirr of crickets tuning up their chorus. Unlike the gradual hush you might expect as creatures settle to rest, the forest's soundscape comes alive in new ways. Night insects begin their songs, a complex orchestra of buzzing, clicking, and trilling vibrations. Each of these sounds is a message, a call to mates, a warning to rivals, or a tactic to confuse hungry predators listening in the dark. Imagine the cicadas, ancient singers that have been serenading forests for millions of years. Their musical calls ripple through the night air, filling spaces between towering trees. Each species has its own unique song, a carefully tuned frequency and rhythm, ensuring the right listeners hear their seductive invitations. You might think of these songs as secret forest letters, written in sound waves that float effortlessly through the cool night. Beneath these insect melodies, larger voices emerge. Owls glide silently, their soft wings barely stirring the air, while distant wolves or coyotes add low, haunting howls that ripple and echo through the valleys. These vocalizations speak of territory, companionship, or the simple pulse of life thriving under moonlight. Every call shapes the nighttime scene and holds a place in the forest's web of relationships. Trees, though rooted and silent to our ears, also contribute to the night's story. While they don't produce sound in the usual sense, trees respond to vibrations traveling through the earth. Wind brushing their leaves creates a kind of gentle rustling language, conveying subtle shifts in the environment. These sounds might warn of rain or storms, or announce the passage of animals along their branches. Even the tiniest creatures add to this nocturnal album. Beetles scurry over bark, their footsteps producing soft taps. Frogs croak from hidden pools, and deep underground, the movement of roots growing, fungi extending, or soil organisms bustling might produce vibrations too faint for us to notice, but meaningful to other forest dwellers. Close your eyes a moment and imagine sensing this symphony, not just with ears but through your entire body. Feel the pulses of sound and silence moving through the space around you, the heartbeat of a living system unfolding in harmony. Notice how the quiet parts, those pauses between notes, hold just as much weight as the calls themselves, allowing life to breathe and shift with gentle intention. The night symphony reveals something remarkable about forest communication. Is many-layered and richly textured, combining sounds, silences, movements, and vibrations. It teaches you about listening deeply, not just for the loudest voices, but for the softest signals, the pauses that invite connection and calm. This nocturnal world also speaks of caution and care. Many animals use sound to avoid conflict, announcing presence without confrontation. Some mimic others to hide. Predators listen carefully for the slightest movement, honing their hunt with precision. The forest night is both a serenade and a strategy, a balanced dance of sound and silence, carefully choreographed across the shadows. Imagine yourself lying beneath a towering oak or a whispering pine. The night's music cradles you, wrapping you in nature's lullaby. Your breathing slows, your heartbeat matches the calm rhythm of the dark woods. In this moment, you are cradled by voices older than language, whispers that remind you of the gentle pulse weaving through all life. As your eyelids grow heavier, take comfort in the knowledge that even as you drift off, the forest continues its quiet conversation. Every rustle, call, and vibration is part of a living story, an unfolding connection that binds creatures and trees in the calm certainty of night. What secrets might the forest's night symphony share with you tonight? What lullabies will the rustling leaves and distant calls sing as you journey softly into sleep? Let your breath fall into the gentle cadence of the forest, resting in the peace of its endless, timeless song. Beneath the forest floor lies a hidden world teeming with tiny architects and caretakers, microbes, bacteria, and countless small creatures that shape the soil and nurture every root. This chapter gently invites you to sink slowly into this secret life beneath your feet, discovering how soil is alive with cooperation and transformation, quietly supporting the forest's grand story of growth and renewal. Imagine the earth beneath you not as cold dirt or lifeless dust, but as a living, breathing world filled with energy and quiet wonder. With each step you take in the forest, countless tiny beings too small to see are bustling in an ancient, delicate dance. They are the unseen caretakers of the forest, making life possible by breaking down old leaves, cycling minerals, and knitting the complex fabric of soil. Feel yourself lowering closer to the ground, as if settling gently into a warm, rich bed. Here, the soil is soft and alive, layered like silk with decomposing leaves, broken twigs, and the humus left behind by ages of growth and decay. This soft carpet is not just a resting place, it is a cradle of creation. Beneath this surface, trillions of microorganisms live and move. Bacteria, archaea, fungi, and protozoa. These tiny creatures form a bustling metropolis that processes nutrients, detoxifies harmful chemicals, and maintains the delicate chemical balance the forest depends on. Their work is slow and steady, a patient alchemy of transformation. Picture bacteria as the forest's master, chefs mixing, cooking, baking nutrients into forms plants can absorb. Nitrogen, one of the most vital ingredients for life, can't be used directly by trees. Instead, special bacteria called nitrogen fixers capture it from the air and transform it into molecules the roots eagerly soak up. This process, invisible to the eye, is a cornerstone of forest survival. Fungi, which you met before as messengers between roots, also play vital roles here. Some fungi help break down tough plant material like fallen branches and dead leaves, turning them into rich compost that feeds the soil. Others form tiny threads that weave through the ground, connecting not just trees, but also flowers, shrubs, and grasses in a vast underground conversation. Now imagine the movements of tiny soil animals, mites, nematodes, springtails mistaken for dust, but lively participants in soil health. They dig, feed, and tunnel, aerating the earth like gardeners turning soil beds, allowing oxygen and water to flow freely to hungry roots. Their work stimulates microbial life too, keeping bacteria and fungi thriving. The richness of soil life creates a flourishing base for everything growing above. Roots rely on this living soil for precious nutrients and water, but the relationship is never one-sided. Roots exude sugars, enzymes, and chemical signals that feed and shape the microbial community around them, tailoring their neighborhood to optimize growth and defense. Consider that soil is a dynamic, living ecosystem that responds to change. Rainfall increases or decreases if temperature shifts, or if humans walk across it too hard. Soil life is delicate but resilient, adapting slowly, sometimes suffering if disturbed too abruptly or frequently. The health of soil connects directly to the health of the forest and to yours. Healthy forests purify air and water, store carbon, and prevent erosion. They buffer extreme weather and provide homes for countless species. The soil beneath your feet is the silent foundation of all these gifts. As you breathe slowly with this understanding, you might think of the soil as a hidden orchestra, softly playing its vital symphony beneath every green leaf. Its instruments are microbes and minerals, moisture and root, exudates, fungal threads and tiny creatures, all moving in harmony across time. The soil's secrets invite you to slow down and appreciate the depth of life, not just above, but beneath your feet. It teaches you that what is hidden can be as essential as what is seen, that the quiet work behind the scenes is often the most important. Let yourself rest now in this warm world of soil, feeling yourself part of a cycle that stretches from the tiniest microbe to the tallest tree. As night deepens and your breath softens, carry this gentle image. Life's enduring foundation lies in connection, transformation, and care, all woven invisibly into the earth where you stand. What stories might the soil whisper if it could speak? What mysteries does it hold in the soft dark? These thoughts drift gently with your slowing breath, guiding you into dreams as rich and deep as the forest itself. The forest lives not just in stillness, but in cycles of transformation and renewal. Leaves fall, roots decay, and new shoots rise, weaving an ongoing dance of life and death. This chapter invites you to breathe slowly into the rhythms of change, to embrace the gentle turning of seasons, and understand how forests sustain themselves through adaptation, patience, and quiet celebration of each new beginning. Take a slow breath and allow your mind to settle among the trees once more. Imagine the forest as a living circle, endless and wise, turning through seasons like a softly spinning wheel. Nothing here is permanent, yet all is sustained by the gentle pulse of change. This rhythm is the heart of the forest's resilience, a dance of letting go and beginning again. As autumn approaches, the leaves high above transform from green to fiery hues, gold, amber, and crimson, painting the canopy with vibrant farewell colors. This is not a hurried goodbye, but a slow and deliberate preparation for rest. Trees conserve energy by gently sealing off the veins that carry water and nutrients into their leaves. Chlorophyll fades, revealing hidden pigments like secret treasures, waiting to be seen. These falling leaves settle softly to the forest floor, forming a protective blanket that nurtures soil, feeds fungi, and shelters tiny creatures. With each leaf's descent, you hear the forest's whispered promise. Every end holds the seed of a new beginning. The decay that follows is not loss, but transformation, a turning of life's page hidden beneath your feet, beneath the leaf litter. Roots continue their slow work. Mycorrhizal fungi spread their fine threads, like artists weaving an intricate tapestry, helping decompose the fallen leaves and recycle nutrients back into the earth. This process enriches the soil, ensuring that next spring, new growth will find all it needs to flourish. The forest breathes life into itself again and again, recycling ancient energy with astonishing grace. Imagine underground now, where seeds long buried wait patiently. Some seeds need fire's warm kiss to awaken. Others respond to the gentle touch of moisture or the slow warming of spring. This awakening is slow and steady, no rush, no hurry, carried by cycles older than your dreams. New saplings emerge, fragile and bright, reaching upward toward the first tender rays of sun. They carry the hope of the forest's future in their tiny leaves, and around them, the fungal networks spread, offering whispers of encouragement and care through shared nutrients and chemical signals. It's a story of cooperation, as ancient as the soil itself. The cycles of renewal are not always gentle. Sometimes storms topple ancient giants, fires sweep through dry woodlands, or droughts linger long. Yet the forest's rhythm adapts. Some seeds wait decades for the fire that clears competition and opens space for new life. Some fungi flourish only after disturbance, breaking down old matter and preparing the forest beds anew. These moments of destruction are moments of creation. They remind you that life is not a straight path, but a spiral of change, where loss and gain dance hand in hand. And through it all, the forest remains patient, enduring, and open to the unexpected gifts of time. Breathe slowly with this understanding. Like the forest, your own life carries rhythms, moments of growth, moments of rest, moments of challenge and healing. There is comfort in knowing that change is not to be feared, but embraced as a gentle partner, guiding you onward. As your mind drifts softly, picture the forest as a living calendar, turning through pages of green renewal, golden rest, quiet sleep, and hopeful rebirth. It is a story without hurry or end, a slow song of transformation, sung under the canopy of stars. What cycles unfold within your own heart tonight? What rhythms of rest and renewal might cradle you into peaceful sleep? Let your breath lengthen, your body relax, and your thoughts settle into the timeless dance of the forest's gentle, endless becoming. In the tender shadows and quiet corners of the forest, tiny guardians cling in, grow mosses, lichens, and humble plants that hold the soil, capture water, and nurture life in countless unseen ways. This chapter gently invites you to slow down and notice these small wonders, whose quiet presence sustains the forest's breath and balance, reminding you that every part, no matter how small, matters. Imagine walking softly among the towering trees, your feet brushing over a soft green carpet. Look closer and you'll find a delicate world composed not of giants, but of the smallest and most unassuming plants, mosses, and lichens living quietly on bark, rocks, and soil. They're the forest's gentle guardians, humble in size but profound in their role. Mosses are tiny plants, simple in form yet ancient in origin. Think of them as the forest's miniature sponges, absorbing moisture from rain, dew, and mist, holding it gently like a hidden treasure. Their soft, cushiony mats cover the ground and fallen logs, slowing down the rain's fall and preventing soil from washing away. In this way, mosses help the forest keep its skin intact, vital protection against erosion and harsh weather. Imagine the moss's many tiny leaves as countless delicate hands, reaching out to catch moisture and nutrients. In the air, each little green shoot is part of a vast, subtle community. Underneath, mosses harbor microhabitats, homes for tiny insects, microbes, and newly sprouted seeds. In the quiet shadows beneath the tallest trees, mosses create a sheltered world, where life quietly thrives. Lichens add another layer of quiet wonder. They are remarkable partnerships, a complex union between fungi and algae, or cyanobacteria, living together in intimate cooperation. Neither could survive alone in many of the places lichens call home, but together they flourish, painting rocks, tree bark, and soil with soft, pale greens, silvery blues, gentle yellows, and earthy grays. Lichens are slow growers and incredibly resilient. They endure harsh conditions, freezing winters, baking sun, and little water, making them the forest's pioneers. On barren rocks and old tree trunks alike, lichens slowly prepare surfaces for other plants by breaking down stone into soil, adding organic matter, and trapping moisture. Each patch is a quiet artist, shaping the forest's foundation over decades and centuries. Now drift your thoughts to the gentle rhythms of water flowing through moss and lichen. These plants soak up moisture and release it slowly, like natural reservoirs that regulate the forest's humidity. This steady flow helps nourish seeds waiting patiently to sprout and softens the harshness of wind and sun for delicate seedlings trying to find their place. Though small and unassuming, mosses and lichens are crucial teachers of patience and persistence. They remind you that every moment of quiet growth is part of a larger story. Flowers bloom in time, trees stretch skyward in years, and the forest breathes in a rhythm that holds space for every leaf, every blade, every patch of green dot beyond. Mosses and lichens, other small plants, grace the forest floor. Ferns, with their elegant fronds curling like delicate scrolls. Tiny wildflowers with soft petals that open only in gentle sunlight, and creeping vines that weave through leaf litter. And around trunks, these small wonders form the understory's fabric, supporting insects, birds, and mammals, completing the forest's profound tapestry of life. As you breathe in the forest's cool, fresh air, think for a moment about the delicate balance. These tiny guardians help maintain. Their presence keeps the soil alive, moist, and rich. Their growth slows water and softens impact. Their quiet work adds beauty and resilience. They teach that strength isn't only tall or loud. It can be humble, patient, and deeply connected. Imagine the playful dance of spores from fungi as they drift in the breeze, settling among mossy mats, finding new places to grow. Think of the shimmer of dew droplets on a lichen-covered branch, catching new light in the morning. These small moments of wonder invite you to slow your breath, soften your gaze, and feel part of a gentle, intertwined whole. Tonight, as you settle into rest, carry with you this quiet truth. Even the smallest green patch, the softest cushion of moss, holds the forest's secrets and sustains its life. Like the forest's tiny guardians, your own quiet moments of care and growth matter deeply. You are part of a living, breathing community where every thread connects and supports the whole. What small wonders might your own awareness uncover in the stillness? What quiet growth takes place within your heart and mind as you gently fall asleep? Let your breath follow the forest's soft rhythm, and rest, knowing you are cradled by the strength of many small, steady lives intertwined in the age-old dance of the forest. As your journey through the forest draws to a close, the gentle spirit of the woods invites you to rest deeply in its embrace. This final chapter weaves together the lessons of connection, patience, and care, reminding you of the quiet power of renewal and the sacred place forests hold in the circle of life. Drift softly into sleep, carrying the forest's ancient lullaby in your heart. Wrapped in gratitude and awe for this living world, the forest whispers softly now, its stories winding gently to a close, but the music lingers still. You rest beneath the sheltering boughs where sunlight fades to twilight and shadows stretch long and tender across the earth. Here, the forest invites you to pause, breathe, and let its quiet wisdom settle deep within your soul. Step slowly into this last moment, where everything you have learned blooms quietly in your mind, like the evening stars peeking through the canopy. You have wandered beneath roots and leaves, listened to the silent conversations of fungi, felt the rhythms of breath and time, and glimpsed the patient intelligence of ancient giants. Now, the forest beckons you to carry these whispers with gentle reverence into your own dreams and waking days. Rest is the forest's gift to all living creatures. Just as the great trees take turns bending in the breeze and standing silent in the sun, so to do they reveal a powerful truth. Growth and rest are partners in the dance of life. Even the mightiest tree, after reaching high for decades or centuries, must pause. Its leaves fall, its sap slows, and it gathers strength in stillness, preparing for the next season of renewal. Imagine yourself laying back on the soft, mossy floor, the cool earth cradling your body like a tender hand. Feel the slow settling of breath as the forest's own pulse becomes your own, steady, deep, and peaceful. There is no rush here, only the calm assurance that all things have their time and place. This patience is a quiet revolution against the hurried pace of the world beyond the woods. The forest teaches you that sometimes the most profound progress comes not from haste, but from waiting, recovering, and preparing. Patience is the heartbeat of resilience, the silent song beneath every leaf's unfolding and every root's slow, deliberate stretch. As dusk deepens, you hear the forest's soft farewell, a rustle of leaves settling, a distant hoot echoing through the trees, the gentle hum of unseen life weaving nighttime spells. These sounds carry a blessing, an invitation to rest deeply, to open your heart to wonder, and to trust in the enduring web of life of which you are a part. The journey, through the secret life of trees has shown you a world where connection is everything. From the invisible fungal threads binding roots across vast spaces, to the shared chemical messages floating on the breeze, forests proclaim a truth as old as the earth itself. No being stands alone. In that truth, there is comfort and courage. Recognition that your own life, with its moments of vulnerability and strength, is woven into a larger story of care and survival. Like the forest, you carry within you the capacity to listen, to respond, and to nurture. And so, as you prepare to close your eyes, imagine the forest folding around you like a soft blanket stitched from leaves, branches, and starlight. Feel the gentle embrace of ancient trees that have stood witness to countless nights just like this one. Their whispers, carried beneath your skin and through your breath, share a lullaby older than memory itself. Rest now, traveler, in the gentle hush of the forest's farewell. Carry this peace with you, allowing it to soothe your mind and cradle your dreams. Tomorrow will bring new light, new stories, and new rhythms to explore. But tonight, the forest holds you tenderly, steady and calm. As your breath fades softly into sleep, listen for the last gentle thought the forest offers. In every ending, there is a beginning. In every rest, life is renewed. And in the quiet, you are always home. What quiet stories will tomorrow's light reveal? What gentle growth will unfold in the deep roots of your heart? Let these questions drift with you on the soft twilight breeze. As you sleep, knowing you are loved, connected, and part of something infinitely vast.